Welcome to episode 356 of the Postal Hub podcast. I'm Ian Kerr. In this episode, we're going to talk about a cargo bike delivery company with a difference. It's called Courier, and joining me in a moment is Elia Cipelletti. He's the logistics operations manager at Courier, and he's going to, explain it all to us. Joining me on the line is Elia Cipelletti. Elia is the Logistics Operations Manager at Courier. Courier, well, for starters, Elia, let's start with the obvious question. What is Courier?
Thank you for inviting me to speak at your podcast, first of all. Courier is Courier Social Delivery. We are a delivery company, a no-profit delivery company, Milan-based. We are operating through sustainability, social inclusion, and ethical labor practices. Why we start? Why we exist in this world right now? Because we started during the pandemic, watching the situation of the gig economy and the unsafe working condition that typically was for the food delivery riders with a big platform, and we just try to provide fairer and more inclusive alternative for working. We were just we just can't believe it that some person was around there during the pandemic working in that conditions. So we just look at each other and say, why we cannot change this?
The conditions or the working conditions for gig platform drivers is a bit of an issue in Italy at the moment because Glovo's subsidiary got fined, was it 5 million euros or something like that just recently because of certain things that they did. So the concept of rider welfare is a live one. It's a big one in Italy at the moment. So you mentioned that is part of the idea. What about the environmental side of things? I mean, what sort of we see a lot of gig economy riders zipping about on scooters or in cars or whatever. What kind of vehicles do your riders use generally?
Well, I confirm that the gig economy workers' condition, it's an issue in Italy, but it's just becoming better in the last year because of judgmental procedure. In the second part of the question was about the sustainability, and our vehicle are only cargo bikes right now. We are just choose to go with cargo bikes because they are sustainable and are very, very efficient. There's a lot of studies that underline that in the city center and in the very, very crowded urban environment, the cargo bikes are very, very effective.
And you mentioned earlier that you're active in Milan, and Milan is probably a city that's really well set up for cargo bikes. It's relatively flat, and it has that dense city centre and sort of a bit of a change, and you get to the outer suburbs, a bit more suburban. Are you active in any other markets apart from Milan, or are you just focused on Milan at the moment?
We are based in Milan, and we started here in Milan, and now we are focusing on consolidate our business and make routes here for who knows, maybe go abroad somehow or in other city in Italy. The view of course is to getting bigger and not staying just in Milan, but right now, it's just a few years that we are born, so we have to consolidate.
Tell us a bit about the actual delivery routes that your riders do, shall we say? Are they doing point-to-point work, so a bit like, say, a food delivery kind of delivery where they pick up from one point and then deliver somewhere else? Or are they doing set routes? So they start off from a depot and go out on a milk run, shall we say? How would you characterise the kind of delivery work that your riders do?
We are trying to mix up a little our partners and so our work. So we have both of the routes system with some partners that do parcels and retails, and they have a next day solution. So we just get an inbound in our hubs. We have 2 hubs in the city, and then the day after we are going with the roads. And the other part, we have clients that are more express, so we are doing point to point, like groceries or food with restaurants. We are just trying to mix up the business.
And tell us a bit about your driver engagement model or your rider engagement model. Are the drivers, I'll say drivers, riders, I suppose, if they're on cargo bikes.
Yeah, they are couriers. Yeah.
The couriers, are they self-employed, or is it more like a gig platform where they can choose when to be on, when to be off, or how do you engage and how do you interact with those riders?
Yeah, that's perfect. We want to do something very, very different from the big platforms. So our employees are under formal contracts. We are offering them benefits like insurance, fixed shifts, guarantee, or hourly pay, and all the what is under formal contracts. Are they not self-employed? We are just trying to change this mentality of a no contract. It's unsafe for the person, and we're just giving them all the stuff like the vehicle, the security stuff, helmets, lights.
So it's not just that the riders are left to their own devices, so to speak. They have to. That you're providing them with the equipment they need to do the job. So you're providing the cargo bike, you're providing the pannier bags or the safety equipment and things like that. That's all your responsibility. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
So let's go back to the topic of the kind of work that the riders are doing, that the couriers are doing. You mentioned that you've got the point-to-point stuff, which might be express, same day. And then you mentioned that you've got the hubs where, did you say you have 2 hubs in Milan? Yeah, so 2 hubs in Milan. What are the kind of retailers that you're dealing with? Well, I should actually ask, first of all. I'm going off on a tangent, everybody. Sode is involved with the Code Zero project. And I think this is quite an interesting project, and you've got a big retailer that you're working with. So can you tell us a bit about Code Zero and the big retailer that you're working with?
Well, we are just, as you said, we are involved in Code Zero project, Horizon Europe initiative, and for the one that doesn't know, and obviously for the last mile. We're just trying to figure it out, how to make a study, make data about delivering cargo bike in the Euro city center, and which are the benefits and the pros and cons. This kind of thing. With this, we are doing this project in partnership with IKEA Italy. Yeah.
So that's given us a bit of an idea of where Sode is at the moment. But what's next? What's next for the company?
Well, as you said, we are just trying to consolidate our experience and our skills in the city of Milan. But of course, we are just looking to broader implementation across Italy.
Elia, if people want to find out more about Sode or read a bit about the way you're set up and the works that you do, where should people go?
Well, people can reach us on the social, like Instagram or Facebook, like the social delivery, or mainly on our website, so-d.it. And there you can find all the things about us, our story, what are we doing now, and what's our plans.
I'll put a link to the Sode website on the episode page on thepostalhub.com. So if you are out walking a dog, lifting weights, I don't know, whatever people do when they're listening to this podcast, go over to thepostalhub.com and there'll be a link there to the Sode website, and you can find out more about what Elia and the team are up to. Elia Cipelletti, Logistics Operations Manager at Sode, thank you very much for joining us on the Postal Hub podcast today.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you so much.
Coming soon on the Postal Hub podcast, Hugh Craigie Hackett from Stamp Free and and Milos Zlatkovic from Miley Technologies. Stay tuned for all. I said stay tuned last week, didn't I? And then I corrected myself because you're not really staying tuned. Anyway, you know what I mean. Subscribe to the podcast. Please subscribe to the podcast in the podcast platform of your choosing. Subscribe to one of my wonderful email newsletters over at thepostalhub.com and follow The Postal Hub, or indeed me, on LinkedIn. Isn't LinkedIn a wonderful place? It's not at all going to the dogs, unlike other social media platforms. Anyway, follow me over there. It's the last bastion of sanity in some respects when it comes to social media. What else? If you want to email me about anything at all, my email address is ian@thepostalhub.com. I'm Ian Kerr. Thanks for listening in, and I look forward to your company next time on the Postal Hub podcast.